It was a collaboration of several Latinx leaders across the company, and it was a moment for us to stand together and stand behind a phrase that we try to live by both personally and professionally. I'm extremely proud of the team for representing our community and reminding our people to remain strong through challenges and successes.
Hi, my name is Alejandro Sandoval, and today I'm going to be talking about how to build your community as a networking tool in the industry. So, a little bit about me. I'm a freelance character concept artist for the video game industry, and I just want to note that you're watching Unidos Online, Latinx In Gaming's annual creator and developer spotlight. So, for the past year, I've been building my community across the animation and the video game industry. And this has gotten me interviews at a few animation studios. It's given me opportunities to connect with people across the industry. And it's also what's led me to be a panelist at Lightbox Expo this year. And it also got me my first freelance job in the video game industry. And I'm here today so I can talk to you and share with you the tools for success that have worked for me to get these opportunities, because I feel like this is information that could be beneficial to everybody in the industry. And the idea behind community building is literally to build the community up together, because I believe in uplifting one another so that we can all succeed in this industry. So, why don't we get started with that? I do want to clarify before I continue that these tools for success are what worked for me, but I don't want you to feel like you have to follow through with everything that I did. I would prefer that you take what works best for you and your personality and your comfort level and apply that to yourself. So we call it the spaghetti in the wall method, right? I don't know if you've heard of this before, but you have a bunch of spaghetti, you throw it on the wall, and then whatever sticks is what you use to apply for your own personal needs. So we're going to do spaghetti on the wall here today, folks. But really, just do whatever feels comfortable for you. But again, the underlying idea behind all of this is uplifting our community together. So um, the first thing I really want to get into is reframing the concept of networking. And I feel like, in my experience, whenever I talk about networking, or I even say that word at events, people kind of feel they just don't like the word. Like, we don't like to say that we're networking, even though we have been told time and time again that networking is an essential part of navigating this industry. Well, any industry in particular, because if you think about it, every industry, whether it's sales or insurance or healthcare, it's all people based industry because you're literally working with different people and building relationships. So the whole concept of networking feels so like it just feels like you're using somebody. But if we think about what networking really is and what it's about, then we recognize that we network every day. So because networking is really just an interaction involving sharing ideas and information between people who are connected by a common interest. If you think about it, whenever you ask for advice for a friend on something, you're kind of networking, right? You're getting information from somebody else. Or when you're asking for a tip on where to go to get your car fixed, you're kind of tapping into your network, aren't you? Because it's a network of people that you know, whether they're your neighbors, or your friends, or your family. But I want to take that um, one step further with networking. And this is the idea where community building comes in. Because if you think about networking as sharing ideas and information, but you add the concept of uplifting one another, then you're essentially reframing networking as this negative connotation to a positive, uplifting tool. Because when you build your community, you uplift one another, right? And so we can uplift one another by making time for each other and participating in events like this event we're having, this Unidos streaming, right? Or game jams are a great networking event, a community building event. You get to work with people and build your experience and interact with others. Coffee chats, Banda Leche Fridays, which is actually not a thing, but I'm working on it, so I'll get back to you on that. But that's just my approach, my philosophy, and how to build how to reframe the concept of networking and use that as a community building tool. So today I'm going to teach you how I did that for myself across this past year through all the events that I've been to, and how I've built an entire community of allies who have supported me in my career pursuit. So let's get started on the first concept that I give anybody when they ask me, how do you network? Alejandro, I say it's easy. Don't make it all about you. That is the first thing I will say, and it's sounds kind of it sounds like it's like I'm trying to be like Yoda, like do or do not. There is no try, but it's really simple. Don't make it all about you. Is simply that. Don't make it all about you. When it comes to community building, you're about sharing resources, information, ideas. So I'll give you an example of me not making it about me. On the screen here, you can see I have two examples from LinkedIn. So I just want to get a quick side note. I use LinkedIn all the time. LinkedIn is not sponsoring me in any way. I just think it is a powerful networking tool. And whether you're an artist or a developer, I just think you should be on LinkedIn and interacting with people and building your audience in the gaming industry on that platform. But please use whatever platform you find is best. But take away the concept, the core concept, which is community. Connect with your community engagement. So don't make it all about me. I made friends here with some people. Kiana on the left, she's a friend that I made at a Game Developers Conference earlier this year. She's a writer, and we connected with each other, and we share resources with each other, job listings usually, but sometimes it's a news article or something like that. And she loves that. She loves that I'm thinking of her and thinking of her career pursuit as a writer, as a narrative writer for gaming. And then my friend Ivan, the example on the right, is another person that I met through a storyboarding club that I started, and it's the same thing. He's a storyboard artist. We're in two different career fields. He's doing live action, and I'm trying, doing games. But he'll still send me stuff about job listings, and we're, doing that over the course of a period of time. We've built a relationship with each other, a relationship of trust and camaraderie and support and uplifting each other. And in this essence, we started to form this community. This is just an example of forming a small community of people that you can support. And I want to give another example. I don't have a picture here, but this is a good way to build a relationship with a recruiter. So I find that recruiters, their job is literally to find jobs, to hire, not to hire, to find talent to fill a need for the studio or the company they're working for. And sometimes you'll notice that a recruiter saying, "I'm looking for senior developer for this position, and so," and you think, well, do I know anybody in my network that could fill that need? And if you do, you could send that over to the recruiter and say, hey, I've got this friend who does this, that's looking for the role, and they have all the qualifications for the role that you want. And recruiters appreciate that, because recruiters, again, it's their job to find talent to get screened and get hired for these roles. So it's just another small simple way to um, build this community of respect and support of one another. But the only thing I will add to that, the only caveat, is that I would only recommend people to a recruiter that are valuable, are valid, or trustworthy, and can do the role, because you're attaching your name and social credibility to that person. So I would just be mindful of that. Another example of a way that you can build your community is by resharing posts on LinkedIn. Again, this is just me supporting somebody else for their success. That has nothing to do. I'm getting nothing out of it other than helping somebody succeed, which is, it's always a good feeling, right? So an example here is that this happened a few days ago. a recruiter friend of mine shared a post for somebody who was looking for information in the video game industry, and I didn't know I couldn't help them specifically. I didn't have any of those resources or that information, but I reshared that post on my LinkedIn account, and the person who was looking for that information interacted with my reshare, and they said thank you. I said, of course, I'm happy to help. You're part of the community. Like, we're all in this together. And then a few minutes later, they connected with me. This person connected with me on LinkedIn, and as you can see on the right message, it said, I said, hey, thanks so much for connecting me with me on LinkedIn. I appreciate it. And she said, yeah. And I said, hopefully you find what you're looking for. And she's like, yeah, thanks for your help. I hope I do. And that was really nice because I think she recognized that I'm just legitimately trying, legitimately want to help this person succeed with their career goals. And we've established a connection on LinkedIn. And it only took me 5 minutes or so, right? But if I ever get a chance to meet this person, we have a pre-established connection. And I've slowly, just by one post at a time, supporting one person at a time, have started to extend the support, extend my community. And I want you to try that next time you see a post for somebody that is looking for something and you can't help them specifically, maybe just reshare it and see if anybody in your network can help them. And you'll be surprised at how much people respond to being supported. And that goes a long way because it's again building trust. This is what you want. You're trying to just build trust. You're building credibility. You're building reliability. You're building your social credit. You're building your personal brand. All of these things are not going to be a replacement to you actually having the technical skills for a job, but you still need to work on those, obviously. The point of this is you're beginning to be what I call a person, a thought leader, or a person of interest, or person that we know is like my friend Jessica. Like, I know Jessica's really good at programming, and she talks about it a lot on LinkedIn, and that's her thing of interest. So it just she becomes a person that I like to call top of mind, right? So she's top of mind. So I'm going to give you another example. I'm going to give you a different tool you can use. It's easy one. It's showing up and being consistent. So I'll share with you a little story after I have this sip of water. It's really hot here in the Bay Area, by the way. I don't know where you're at, but it's toasty. So I used to live in Monterey, and this was years ago. And I lived in Monterey, and I wanted to be a fine artist, but I couldn't afford to go to school. And so, what I found that works best as an alternative to getting to go to school is showing up to events, like being there at art fairs or conferences or seminars or anything relating to my field of interest, or even like going through magazines, finding out who's writing articles and reaching out to those artists. Just a quick tip: if you want to go to a seminar or a conference and you can't attend, see if they need volunteers. And if you can volunteer, you can get into the event for free and still get information and build your network and support your community. That's a conversation for another time. So, anyways, I'm living in Monterey and I want to be a painter. I want to be a portrait painter, and I just can't afford to go to school. And I hear about this guy, Warren Chang, and Warren Chang was top of mind. Warren Chang was well known. He'd hosted figure drawing sessions. He's written articles in magazines, got his name out there, attended shows. He was top of mind, which is what we want to do for you. We want you to be top of mind. And so I hear about Warren, and I go to his figure drawing sessions that he hosted once a week, and I go to as many of those as I could. And then I hear that he's having a gallery opening in Carmel. And I was like, well, I mean, I live 20 minutes away from Carmel. Let me just take a long lunch break here at work and see what that's about. Never been to a gallery show before, gallery opening. And so I do that. And I go and meet Warren, and we talk for about 15 minutes or so, and then I leave. But we exchanged contact information. See, before I had met Warren at this gallery opening, he already knew who I was. He knew who I was because I was showing up to other stuff, like the figure drawing sessions, talks that he was giving, was learning about him through other people. So I kind of came slightly prepared, setting myself up for success. So I go talk to Warren at his gallery opening. Beautiful work. Think nothing of it. It's cool. Got a little pamphlet. Nice life experience. Yeah. And then about a day or two later, I get a text from Warren, and Warren asks me to be his assistant because he didn't have an assistant at the time. And he's like, if you're my assistant, you can help me set up stuff for figure drawing sessions, which is easy, just labor work. And in turn, he'll help me with my painting and my painting, give me painting advice, give me career advice. And I said, yeah, totally, I'll do it. So I totally, and I ended up working with him for a year, and that was it was free education. All I had to do was give him my time, and that working with Warren is what set me up for success later in life. And working with Warren is the reason I went to Art Center, and Art Center is the reason that I got into video games. So I've always credited Warren for putting me on this path to be where I am now. But if we review back what I did, so what did I do? I followed the steps that I was talking about today. I put myself in situations where I'd get lucky. I put myself out there attending as many events as I could. I didn't just tell people that I was passionate about art and painting. I showed them by being available, by talking about it, by engaging in things. This is pre LinkedIn. I was just doing things in person, whatever I could, whatever events were happening nearby, whatever artists I could talk to. You got to put yourself out there, put yourself out there as a person of interest. And at the same time that I was doing that, I was also trying to support my community and volunteering in the art field out there in Monterey in any way that I could. So I'm just saying that could work for you. If you're looking for a mentor, try reaching out to somebody in your area or someone online and see if you can start to build that relationship. And the easiest thing you could do is just show up consistently in a way that you could show up consistently. Just an idea is that if you ask for somebody for feedback on a piece and they say, "Oh, this okay, do this, this, and this." Actually, I did this recently at Riot Games Mixer. I went to a Riot Games Mixer a few months ago. I got feedback on my portfolio, and I came back a few months later at another mixer at Riot Games, and I showed them my portfolio, and they're like, "Oh, you're actually serious about this. You're actually doing what we're telling you to do to get better." I'm like, "Yeah, so just do that. Try that on. Find somebody you can connect with that's a mentor, has experience in your industry, and show them. Be consistent. Follow through. Listen to their advice, and you don't know, maybe a mentorship will naturally form through this progression of feedback and revision and feedback and revision. um, but there's a lot of power in showing up, and if you can show up at in-person events, that's even better because face-to-face interactions are the best. So I'm just going to quickly go over um, LinkedIn is a powerful networking tool. So I like to post on LinkedIn at least once a week. But again, that's going back to building my community, supporting my community, and then also building my audience, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But a way that you can start to get interactions with other people on your LinkedIn is you could endorse people's skills. They always appreciate that. And as you can see, I have a few examples where people endorse me and I endorse them. Endorsing, that's just a good, safe way to say, hey, you're good at this, you're good at this, you're good at this. And they'll get a message of the person you endorse, and they'll say, thank you so much. And I was like, yeah, totally. And they might even endorse you. And now you've got like this back and forth, this mutual beneficial connection is forming between you two. So it's a safe way. It's a kind of nice way to segue into building a relationship with people, building relationships within your community. Um, I'd also recommend whenever you get a connection from somebody, just say hi to them and say thank you for connecting with me. So that way your connection isn't just like, I this person's interesting. Okay, cool. All right, that was it. Moving on to the next one. But if you stop for a moment and just say, thanks for connecting with me, stranger, or I love your work, or this is cool that you do this on your page, or whatever they have, you've made an attempt to initiate a conversation and build an interaction with that person. Um, but going back to all of this, endorsing people's skills, writing recommendations if you know them. Again, I don't want to recommend anybody that I don't have experience working with or that I know for a fact is the person that I say they are when I write that recommendation. But this is all about building relationships, and you're planting seeds in the community, and you're forming and you're uplifting your community. and I just want people to feel like it's it's okay, like it's okay to do this, to help each other out. And when I say planting seeds, I mean, like you don't know if the person that you're talking to now is going to be someone that's going to help you out 6 months from now, or they're going to have a job, they're going to be in a place where you can get an opportunity. So you just got to plant those seeds and see what happens. But I'll give you I'm going to share a quick example here of somebody who's really, really good at building his audience, planting seeds, sharing with us, teaching us. This guy, Tyvik Stalworth on LinkedIn. If you're on LinkedIn, I would add him. He's part of the gaming industry. He just has some great information. He's always teaching us. And when he teaches us about the industry, he's teaching us about himself because he's letting us know that he's passionate. He's not just saying he's passionate, he's showing us. And he's building his community because he's sharing resources and information and uplifting us and supporting us. And in turn, when he does that, he's also building his audience. He's building his audience by letting us know that he's a person of a subject matter expert in his field, right? He's top of mind when it comes to his combat design work for video games. So just, that's an example you can use if you want to start building your audience while building your community at the same time. Just want to clarify real quick that building your audience and building your community are two different things. You can build your community by supporting people, uplifting people, commenting on their posts, interacting, going to events, um, supporting people in many different ways. But building your audience is specific to you. So when you build your audience, you're talking about what interests you, what you like, what um, what you're passionate about. And I'll talk about passion, what you're passionate about, in just a minute. But so going back to building your community, uh, if you got time, this weekend, I want you to just try some of these concepts that we've talked about today. Showing up to events, engaging in content. And I'll give you an example of how this has worked for me. A recent example is I went to an event a few weeks ago in Southern California, and I went on LinkedIn. I did all this prep work. I was researching hashtags specific to this event. It was the Latinx In Games Festival, um, and and I was looking for information on who was going to be at the event because I knew who the sponsors were. So just a tip: so if you're ever at an event and there's a sponsor, those sponsors are usually going to have recruiters there. But you want to see if any other recruiters are going to be going to that event, and LinkedIn is always a good place to kind of scope out and research. So I researched ahead of time, and then I found out that a recruiter from Activision was going to be at the event, and they said, "Fill out this QR code, and I'll see you there." And it was a post they had, so I went on there, I filled out the QR code, and then I not only did that though, I took it one step further. I filled out their code, and I said, "I just filled out your code on your post, and I look forward to meeting you." And they interacted with that, and they said, "Oh, I look forward to meeting you as well." So okay, great. And then so the day comes on Saturday when I'm at the event. I I run into somebody who's wearing an Activision shirt, so I'm assuming they're an Activision recruiter. And I introduce myself, and they say, "Alejandro, I was looking for you. I was hoping we can meet. I'm so glad that we're able to meet each other in person." And so I realized at that moment that all that prep work, the interacting beforehand, engaging on these posts, commenting, I had pre-planned gave myself like increased my opportunity for success, right? And I've pre-established this connection, and I've interacted and kind of made myself be known. So next time you go to an event like Lightbox, maybe try researching beforehand who's going to be there. Go research Lightbox hashtags, and start interacting with people's posts. If they say I'm going to be at Lightbox, and you say, "Hey, that's great. I'm going to be there too on this day," or "I'll be going to this panel," or find something where you can start to initiate a conversation and start to build a common interest. And maybe before you go to the event, you've already got a few lunches scheduled, or you're going to be meeting with people, or but it's just all goes back to building into your community and engaging with people. So I'm going to share with you, because I know we're running short on time, I'm going to share with you the story of how I got my first freelance job as a character concept artist. And I'm hopefully going to share with you what I did. And then ideally, you can try to take these steps and apply them to yourself so you can put yourself in opportunities where success is going to happen. So I went to a GDC earlier this year, and I was went to a mentorship meeting, hosted by International Game Developers Association, and had my meeting with my mentor, and I was like, "Oh, this is great! I'm learning so much. I'm pumped." And as I'm heading out the door, I see this guy sitting by himself, and he was one of the mentors. And I was like, "Hey," and he said hi to me, and I said hi. So I sit down, I start talking to him, and we have about 15 minutes to chat before the next round of mentees come up, and we connected, exchanged information, and then I thought that's cool. He's a nice guy. And so a few months go by, and at a mixer event, and I'm getting feedback from an artist at a Riot Games mixer. I'm getting feedback from an artist, and the artist is like, "I can tell that none of this work in your portfolio that you're really passionate about. You should create work that you're passionate about." What he was really telling me was like, "You should build your audience specific to the kind of work that you want to do." And I thought, shoot, okay, right? Because I want a job. I want a job. And so when I get back home, I start doing that. I took out one of my books. My favorite books is one of my favorite books is a book called The Postman by David Bryan, and I start creating content based on that book. And a few days later, I get a message from my friend from the GDC conference, and he's like, "Yeah, let's talk about this thing I'm working on." I was like, "Sure, totally. That sounds cool. We haven't talked in a while." And then as soon as we get on the Zoom call, I can tell within 5 seconds that it's like he's hiring me for a job, and he sends me over a contract that same day, and that's how I got my first job in the video game industry. And all I did was went to events that I was able to go to, put myself in opportunities for success by showing up to whatever I was eligible for, followed up with the people that I connected with, and I built my audience by creating and sharing what I love. And I did that no cost, nothing out of pocket. All you got to do is just show us who you are and be vulnerable with that, and don't be afraid to share. So try that. See what you can see if you can apply that to your career field. See if you can talk about what you love, what works best for you. And I guess the only thing I can say is to wrap things up is connect to the community outside the industry. Don't limit yourself to just gaming or just animation. You everybody. This is I was in sales for a long time, so we in sales we say everybody is somebody's someone. You have no idea if the person that your next door neighbor could be friends with somebody who's friends with somebody that could have a lead on an opportunity that you want to work at. Follow the law of attraction. If you tell the universe what you want, and the universe will find a way to reveal itself to you. And the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Um, and I really wish I had more to say about this, but just a quick review on everything that we've talked about. Networking naturally happens because of your community building. There's a lot of power in consistently showing up. When you network or your community, build your community, don't make it all about you. LinkedIn is an ultimate networking tool for us artists. Maybe use ArtStation as well. Build your community one friend at a time, and pace yourself with that. Don't overwhelm yourself. Again, these are tools that work for me. I want you to use what works best for you, and build your audience by sharing and by creating and sharing what you love. Let us know who you are. And I would love to be able to connect with all of you. If you're interested, please connect with me on LinkedIn. And if you have any questions, I wanted to have some time available for questions, but I think I'm running out of time here. But my email address is on there, alejandrosandovalart@gmail.com. Please email me if you have any questions, or we can connect on LinkedIn. I'm more than happy to help out as much as I'm able to, so we can support each other in this community. And I especially know that it's a trying time right now. So really, is just let's do what we can to help each other out. And I'm just going to be signing off now, but I want to thank you so much to everybody at Latinx in Gaming for hosting this talk and making this possible. Please donate. $50 or more to Latinx In Gaming for a chance to win a Western Digital Black P40 solid state drive. I don't know what that is, but that sounds really cool. So that's going to be it for me today. Thank you so much.
I'm Mexican American, so being a Latino myself, this was something that I thought was a great opportunity. I wanted to learn a little bit more about community creations to actually create the product. So it's been really cool to just kind of, work with the designers. We didn't have to build a new product, but it was really unique to kind of be there from the beginning.
So our focus with community creation is to really build deeper, richer relationships with our audiences. And we can do that through our brands of products. And in this case, when we're talking about the Hispanic and Latino gamers, this is something that we're trying to do. And what's made WD Black so successful with gamers is that we're very mindful to be as authentic as possible to their gaming experience and reflect what they love.
And if you look at the drive, what you'll see is the art over the top of an ancient steel. The team went and added this engraved look underneath all of it. So kind of looking at it from a Mayan or Aztec aspect. And then over the top of that, we added con todo pasión and the heart in the middle of it. I think that combination, it talks to the history, talks to the current, and also the culture into something that's technology.
Creating the We Unidos edition of our WD Black product was extremely important to me personally. It was a collaboration of several Latinx leaders across the company, and it was a moment for us to stand together and stand behind a phrase that we try to live by both personally and professionally. I'm extremely proud of the team for representing our community and reminding our people to remain strong through challenges and successes.